You're listening to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by. On the morning shift.
Anything
could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift. I'm AJ Walsh. Glad to be here with you. Thankful that you're here with us. Sorry, we're off to a bit of a late start this morning. I am exactly 100% not sure why. There's all kinds of things. There was a power outage just as we were setting everything up this morning. It couldn't have been as timed as well as it was. I just thought it was just a quick power flicker, but it was enough to put us back about 10 minutes in terms of getting the show started. But here we are. You're here. We're here. We're going to have a great show today, I promise. We're live on CKLU 96.7 FM each and every weekday morning, including this morning. We're also streaming at cklu.ca. Just click on the Radio Player Canada app and you can stream us. You can download the same Radio Player Canada app, take us with you and listen to us anywhere, anytime on your favorite device. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and follow our channels, which we are live streaming on channels and pages, facebook.com/Sudbury News and youtube.com/Sudbury News. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and follow, as said, but mainly comment. We'll do our best to get your comments read for those listening on the radio and up on the screen for those watching. And remember, the show is found on demand afterwards on those two platforms, along with X, formerly twitter.com/Sudbury News. And also on demand at sudbury.news, which is our website, our news aggregator, which aggregates all local news into one convenient location for everyone. So that way we can all enjoy the news conveniently as it was meant to be. You don't have to go all over the place to find it. As the government policies, recent legislation made it pretty impossible to share news. Well, it is impossible. It's banned, basically. They don't want to use that word. It's because Facebook and Instagram won't pay news organizations to allow them to share their news. I don't understand the reasoning behind that or the thinking, but what we have as a result is a ban of news on Facebook and Instagram. That's what we have as a result. That's all we know. So if someone's saying they intend to make sure that you have running water and, in order to have running water, you have to make sure that, whatever legislation is followed, but the end result is you have no water. So you just put an end to water coming into your house for whatever. The end result is you got no water. So whatever leads to that, it's a bad analogy. My brain's not working this morning, along with the devices that we have from the power outage, but maybe I'll come up with an analogy later. Usually they just come, but I don't know. It's not working this morning. But what I was trying to get to is that the government says it's for one thing, but the end result is totally different. They say they want news organizations to make more money from platforms that they're totally using anyways. They stepped into an industry. They stepped into an industry and said, this industry needs to run better and needs to run where it pays the people that are doing the job. But they're being paid anyway. They have ways of being paid. If they can't be paid, it's up to them to create a business model in order to do that. The government doesn't need to step in and cancel their news from being shared. That's what ended up happening. Did that help their cause in any way, shape, or form? So now they're trying to go out and get advertisers and stuff, and there's less news being shared from their platforms. It's harder for them to make money on their own. Oh, wait a minute, the government has a decision. They'll pay for all the news. They'll just give, government handouts to these news organizations to keep them afloat. Oh, yes, but there's strings attached. You get this, because government money never comes without strings attached. We'll give you the money, but you got to do these things and whatever. And if you say anything against us, we're watching, right? So, and we could easily make a policy that makes your news organization not so favorable for these handouts. What do you have next? Communism, full-on communism. Only state-run media, no other media. And here we have a story from Sudbury.com today talking about the provincial government just saying recently that they're going to up the amount of money that they give to news organizations in terms of advertising. So they got to spend, I don't know how many more millions in local advertising. And Sudbury.com thinks that's a great idea. That's a great idea that they're going to get more money from the provincial government. And they think all levels of government should be doing the same thing. So you see how that's very counterproductive for news and for what news is supposed to do, and that's keep people accountable. So it will definitely not be keeping government accountable if they're the ones 100% funding these news organizations. So all that to say is we provide a service for everybody here in the city. So you can go to a simple website, sudbury.news, and get all your local news, sudbury.com, CTV, CBC, Sudbury Star, all on one page. And so that's a service provided. So the government that makes trillions of dollars every year and is there for our benefit, you would think, to make our lives easy and allow us to live our lives to the fullest we can. In one failed swoop, just got rid of all news on the most major platforms that share news, and that was Facebook and Instagram. We don't really use Twitter in Canada all that much. It's mainly used in the United States. So if it was used just as much as it was in the United States, it wouldn't be as impactful. Everyone would just switch to Twitter, which they may or may not have done. But we're not in that. That's not part of our culture here. And so I was able to make a website on my own dime with my own money and in a short period of time, and found a solution where the government was able to shut everything down. I was able to open it up. And all you got to do is go there. You don't even need to sign up or anything. It's just there for you. It's the way things should be. You can go get your news in one shot. It works on your mobile phone like an app. I mean, we should have an app too, but it works on your phone just like an app. When you go to the website, it looks like an app. You just scroll through all the stories, and there you are. And it's got everything you need. So you can also find this show on demand on that platform, Sudbury.news. So without further ado, let's jump in today's show. We wanted to get a little focus on our climate change and what we're doing in this country, jumping into electric vehicles and all kinds of stuff. But we'll be able to do that coming up a little bit later. We'll get through some local news stories, and we'll then talk about the whole climate situation that we do on Fridays and what we can make of that. We've been told a lot of things, and they're not stopping, right? They just don't stop. It just keeps coming. And we'll have a story today about that, and we'll have a couple professors talking about how our climate models that we have that are all talking about total destruction of the world, that they're very flawed. And there's people that benefit from it. There's certain people that benefit from these models. And there's enough scientists that, in order to to be a scientist, you need money, right? You need to be paid, and a lot of companies will pay for your research and basically pay you to do research. And a lot of scientists, have a price, just like anybody, just like politicians have a price, right? Everyone's got a price. What's your price? So if someone comes to you with $1 billion and says, I need this, we'd like to think that everyone on the earth would be super ethical and turn things down and not go for it. But if you're from an NGO, or you're a philanthropist that has everything to gain from this world ending through this climate model, you can pay for research that tells the scientist, you tell the scientist, I want this end goal, wink, wink, I'll give you $1 billion to make it happen. We'd like to think that there'd be just super ethical people everywhere that would turn things like that down, but we don't see that in our world today. We see the opposite. We see those that are susceptible to that in positions of power and running things, and it's rampant. It's like a cancer in the world kind of thing. There's just too many people doing things like that. And anyways, so without further ado, let's talk about this and local stories and begin with a little bit of weather. And we'll be back right after this. And as usual, weather brought to you by Duck Check, where you just give them a call or go to their website, and they'll be able to come to your house or your business or your whatever building has ductwork in it and inspect it and make sure that it's as clean as possible so that the air that you're breathing is clean. They have locations all the way from here in Greater Sudbury all the way down through Huntsville, Muskokas, and Parry Sound. And we'll check in a little bit more with them after the weather. 17 degrees currently. It's mostly cloudy. Today you can expect cloudy, 60% chance of showers this afternoon, the risk of thunderstorms. Today's high will be 22, but with the humidex, it'll feel like 27. UV index 6 or high. Tonight, mainly cloudy, 40% chance of showers in the evening. Showers beginning late this evening with a risk of thunderstorm overnight. Local amount of precipitation will be 10 to 15 millimeters. And then Saturday, a mix of sun and cloud with a 60% chance of showers. Risk of thunderstorm in the afternoon, high of 24. With the humidex, it's 29. UV index is 7 or high. Now, this is the thing. They've been saying rain, rain, rain for a while, and we've got very little of it and a lot of sunshine. And so even though they're saying there's all this chance of rain, I can't believe how much sunshine indeed we've gotten over the last little bit. Now, for some reason, this page is not loading, and now it's loading. There you go. There you go. Your long-term forecast, your 6-day forecast is 60% chance of showers tomorrow, high of 24. Sunny with a high of 25 on Sunday. 40% chance of showers Monday and Tuesday with a 24 and 22 degrees respectively. Wednesday, cloudy, 22, and then mix of sun and cloud, high of 24. But if it's anything like what we've been seeing, it'll just be quite a bit of sun with some clouds. So I don't know, Environment Canada, what satellites they're using these days or what, but here's a look at the satellite, which does show quite a few clouds going all the way through central Ontario, all the way from Minnesota, Michigan, all the way through to Quebec. Starts clearing a little bit north of Timmins, but other than that, it's cloudy with salt and peppered activity of precipitation in there. And that's your Sudbury weather, brought to you by Duck Check. Visit duckcheck.com to find out all the latest that they're offering in terms of inspection of your ductwork and cleaning. They have the latest equipment. Make sure the air that you're breathing is as clean and as pure as possible. You can give them a call at 705-918-4848. Visit them at duckcheck, D-U-C-T, check.com, and let them know that we sent you, and you'll get $100 off your next inspection and cleaning. And remember, they have their new area of their location that just opened up out of Huntsville, and they cover Muskoka and Parry Sound as well. We'll be back with news headlines, your comments, and more right after this. Okay, we are back. Quite a few people joining us at the moment, and want to give a few shout outs to those who are on. And a little frazzled this morning because of the way that we started off the show, just with everything. And again, there's been one thing after another. It's just, again, it's a different thing every morning. I'm not sure. It just seems like it's almost like it's being done on purpose, but I'm not going to suggest that in any way. It could just be by accident or happenstance. But just, a bit frazzled this morning. Then looking for videos that I was going to share this morning. Couldn't find them either. That's probably my doing. But just interesting morning. But, we're going to continue the show and make it as good as we can this morning with everything that we have. And with your own dime, that's your dollar, with the taxes taken off. Yes, for sure. That you're talking about the website, Sudbury.news, that we've put up for a service for the community to have all the news in one location. And yes, so you take, I don't know how much money we're left with after taxes. I believe it's, you get taxed at least 30% or so right off your check to begin with. And some people taxed more. And then, you go out and try and spend your money, and there's 13% tax on everything. And then there's now the new carbon tax. And the more prices rise, I was going to share a video of someone, they had an old Walmart, if you go online to order your groceries, you can just reorder a previous order. So this person found an order that they made 2 years ago, and they saw the price. It was like $100, $125, something like that. And they hit, I want the same order again. And it was over $400 for the same amount of groceries. So taxes driving up prices, which then have more taxes on them, you don't have much money left at the end of the day. So I'll give you an example. So let's say something was $1 and you're going to pay 13 cents to the government when you buy that thing for $1. Well, let's say inflation drove up that thing to $4, like the example we're sharing about Walmart. It drove the prices up to $4. Well, now you're paying 13 cents times 4, right? So that's what, 52 cents? Instead of 13 cents, for that same thing you bought 2 years ago that was $1 and now it's $4, you paid 13 cents tax. Well, now that, it's worth $4, you're paying 52 cents tax. Now, let's say this was dollars and not, it was, instead of $1, it's $100. So if you pay something for $100, you're paying $13 in tax. And let's say that same thing went up to $400, you're now paying $52 in tax. So carbon taxes are driving up prices. One of the reasons of inflation, there's many reasons. That's one reason, because you tax the gas, first of all. Let's say you just tax gas, which they're doing with carbon taxes, drives up the price of that. Now it costs more to get your goods delivered. So they drive up the prices because they're not, they got to make businesses. This is just maybe you're going to learn something today. And I know I'm just kidding. You already know this, but businesses are there to make money. And there's a lot of communists and Marxists out there and socialists that think that's a bad thing. Businesses just be there to serve people and not make any money, and everything should be run by the government. They don't understand the basics of life, though, unfortunately. But yeah, businesses are there to make money. That's what drives them. And what do you think drives governments in the first place? Power and money and greed. That's what drives governments. Like it does. And a lot of this is for these reasons that they keep driving up prices of everything. They regulate businesses so that way they regulate them right out of business. And then there's only a few left that work with the government. And now you have fascism. You have corporations working with government to help each other out for what? Power and money. So sure, you might say capitalism and the free market. You know, you have all kinds of reasons that you were taught in university to hate it, but it's they're really not the problem. It's the governments that come in and regulate. You can't have crony capitalism, which is what people allude to, because governments are involved. Governments and businesses get together and make laws and regulations that favor only certain businesses because they're friends. They develop a friendship or a coalition of some kind. And then eventually you're not allowing any competition, which is the thing that drives down prices, creates jobs and all kinds of things. It's just healthy to have competition. And when governments get involved, they get rid of competition because they collude with other companies. They call them lobbyists. Lobbyists go and take them out to dinner and do whatever. They help them get in power, and then there's strings attached to that. And then they have to help that company out. That's crony capitalism. That's not capitalism, right? But to see the alternative, as Winston Churchill said, he said capitalism is the worst thing he's ever seen until you see the alternatives. And that's what we got here. And so now with the government just, driving up prices for everything, who's making the money here? So companies have to charge more for gas. Now it costs them more to bring your potatoes to the supermarket. Supermarket has to pay more for the potatoes. What's a supermarket going to do? Take a loss? No, they got to charge more to you for the potatoes. What does the government do? They keep the tax the same percentage on now the super inflated priced potatoes because they inflated the price to begin with. So they're making money from the gas, the carbon tax they're charging, and they're making money from you when the prices go up on the other end of the spectrum. It should be illegal what they're doing. It really is criminal. You would say, you would think they would at least lower the percentage of taxes to, let's say, at least 10% or 8% or something. So that way they would acknowledge the fact of what they're doing and give you a bit of a break. They're still making billions and billions of dollars more because of inflation. They're making more money. So why wouldn't they then give you a break on your taxes at least? That's really good. Like, I guess if you're, the kind of thinking that got it to this point in the first place just shows you they don't think like that. So let's say I did something by accident. I'm a government and it raised prices. And now taxes are 4 times more because I, from my doing, raised the prices 4 times more. You can tell if I was wanting what was best for my society, I would think like that. I would think, let's lower taxes a little bit because we're still going to make more money because everything's 4 times more and it's 13% on everything. Let's lower it to 8%. And we're still making more money, but at least we're giving people a break. It would show that you at least cared about people. You're like, whoops, did I do that? Sorry, guys, we'll give you a break, But no, you don't get that. And I know there's quite a few comments coming in. Judy, good morning to you. Thanks for being with us. Marianne, good morning from Barrie, liked and shared as usual. And Liette, good morning, everyone from Collingwood. Happy Friday. And Estelle, good morning. Thanks for being here. Marianne as well. Awesome blue sky today. No trails so far. That's right. And as you know, there's a big campaign out there to say that it's all in your head. That's just regular jet fuel, contrails they call them, that are trails in the skies that you see on a nice sunny blue sky day, and then all of a sudden it gets cloudy and it rains. Well, why isn't it like that every day? Why is it only certain days? You know, they say it's just from regular jet traffic. Well, what, they have like massive traffic on Thursdays? What is it, like bargain Thursday travel day or something, and everyone's traveling on a certain day at a certain time of the day? Why isn't there contrails other days if they're just from regular jet travel? Anyways, we all know the reason behind it. It's called geoengineering. Scientists are very forthcoming with it. The ones that are involved with it, and said, yeah, there's a program that's worldwide that's designed to cool down the earth. And yeah, it's a matter of fact. But there's still this campaign out there that's trying to debunk the idea that these are done on purpose to cool down the earth. So in one hand, they're just coming out and saying it, and they're saying it on mainstream media. We have video of them talking with Stephen Colbert, all kinds of just late night talk show hosts and shows about it. It's just matter of fact. But then there's other outlets out there that are debunking it, that you find on Google and stuff when you research it. So I don't know. It's very confusing to people. Good morning, Miles. Thanks for being with us. Hope you're having a good Friday. Get notifications all the time. I couldn't even share a memory that had nothing to do with news. Yeah, exactly. They shut down all the news on Facebook and Instagram. Good morning, friends. Smiley emoji. Brian, good morning, Patriots. Good morning to you, Brian. Marianne, you cannot put anything up about the Prime Minister. It automatically gets fact-checked. Interesting. Hopefully correctly fact-checked, because that would be good. I thought if real fact-checking was going on, that would be a good thing. But you can tell it's super biased, and it's very kind of in the shadows, all these, who are these fact-checkers? Who's fact-checking them? Pat, sorry to say your last name, but it's Pat. I tried to share an article on earwigs on how bad they are, more than usual, and it wouldn't let me. It's from sun.com. Well, Sudbury.com also had one, and you wouldn't be able to share it from there anyways. It doesn't allow you to share news. What you have to do if you want to share news on Facebook is go to a news outlet, copy the part of the article, maybe not the whole thing, but the main part of the article, and then you share it as if you were typing it. You copy and paste it into your feed on Facebook and say this is a segment of an article from such and such news outlet. And then at least people know if they want to go see it, they got to go and then find it themselves. But see how it's just harder and harder to find news, and it was so easy to just share it. And I wonder if someone has anything to gain with shutting news down. Like who would stand to gain something from that action being done, right? Who would stand to gain? Well, someone who doesn't want things found out quickly and just, having stories shared with people quickly would stand to gain from something like that. And now what kind of people would be in that category, do you think? Just ask yourself that question. Monique, good day. Lovely people. Sunshine emoji, heart emoji. And Marianne, yes. And I don't know what I was talking about at that point. You're kind of agreeing with what I was saying, but I was saying all kinds of things, and I apologize for that. Sudbury.com, don't know if it will let me spell it out. Censorship at its finest. Yeah, correct. Yeah, it's hard to say, right? Even if you say the news organization, it could be censored. I don't know. Interesting how our news is being censored in a free country. Go figure. Democracy. Wow. What is that? Or do we still have that? So let's say we took a vote from the people asking them if they thought we should still be able to share news on Facebook and Instagram. What do you think the people would say? I thought that was democracy. What is democracy? I thought it was the majority. Whatever the majority wants. Doesn't seem like we're in a democracy in this country. Time and time again, our fearless leader has said, it's for the ethical good that he's doing something that most Canadians don't agree with. Because he's some kind of an activist, progressive somehow, standing up for the little person in his, that's what he portrays to people. But at the end, everyone kind of just gets screwed somehow. Maybe a few people benefit from what he decides to do, but not many. So I thought he was saying the word democracy quite a bit. And if, let's say, we had a vote today, democracy would say that he would no longer be in charge, right? If he really believed in democracy, he should call an election, first of all. Second of all, with this whole news sharing thing, let's say he put it to the people like true democracy would be and said, okay, this is the thing. Should we make Facebook pay money or even let the news organizations themselves vote on it? All of them, as far as I could see, were against it. They were like, we like sharing our news on Facebook. We don't think they need to be paying us. It's a tool we use to get our news out there and shared with people. Let's say they even took a vote with all the news. But no, he made the decision because it's better for you. He feels that was better for them. No, I think it's better for him. It's better for him that no news is being shared, right? Why? What do you think is going on at the federal level? What kind of news were we seeing and are still seeing of what's happening? More corruption than we've ever seen at the highest levels in Canada. Foreign interference with people actually being found out, with a report being published that name MPs that they're dealing with foreign characters. A green slush fund that they're not being accountable with who is getting the money. I don't know how many contracts were awarded. The Arrive Can comes to mind that just went to friends of government bureaucrats and politicians, and they didn't go through the proper, processes to award these contracts. That and much, 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 much more. I can keep going on for hours, but that's who stands to benefit without the sharing of news very easily. Another thing, if they pay the news organizations, which they're doing, millions of dollars, how accountable will these news organizations hold this government? It is not, ladies and gentlemen, a democracy at all. I think we've crossed the threshold to a different form of governance in this country. We make that case time and time again on the show. And maybe we need to talk about what real democracy actually is more and more, so people are educated. This is, in my estimation, a dictatorship, and in their own party. So the party wants the leader out, but he's going to stay. What does that tell you? Is that democracy? No. It's the people in power clinging to power. That's all it is. It's not a real democracy. Back 10 years ago, if one of these hundreds of scandals, hundreds of criminal acts that were done by this federal government would have been done in the news, would have been right away accountability. There would have been an election. People wouldn't stand for it. It would be done. But this government seems to be allowed to go on and on and on and on and on without any accountability whatsoever. And then they shut down the sharing of news on social media, the largest platform that most people are on, that used to share news on, is shut down. Now, you're able to lie to the people and tell them why you shut it down, and it's not for the reasons which politicians do all the time. But at the end of the day, you are either incompetent to make a deal with Facebook to allow the sharing of news, which the majority of people wanted done. You're either too incompetent to get it done or you did it on purpose. There's only the two options: incompetency or on purpose, right? So either one's not good for you, because if you're too incompetent to have a democratic, as you say, country, being allowed to freely share news, and what's more democratic than a free and open press for people, right? Freedom of speech, open press, that should be at the foundations of a democratic society. So if you're too incompetent to make that happen, you got involved with that. You made it an issue when it wasn't an issue to begin with. News outlets weren't going, "Oh no, why isn't Facebook paying us?" They weren't saying that. You said that on their behalf. And then your incompetence or your on purposeness did it. The end result was there's no more news shared on Facebook, which in the end, if a dictator was in power, they'd just say, nah. They wouldn't even give a reason, and it would just be shut down one day, and all you would have is state-run media. But because we have an illusion of a democracy still, you just give them some lame excuse, and it's because you want all these media outlets to be paid properly. You're like the defender of journalism. How hypocritical could you get? It's about as bad as it gets, along with other things where you prove your hypocriticalness all the time. Hypocriticalness? Yeah, it's a word. Believe me. Talking about the environment all the time, taxing us to death about it, and then taking a private jet on trips and stuff, using more fuel than Toronto would use in a month on one trip. Hypocritical. Talking about people, and you stand up for people, and you're raising taxes so that way you can have programs for dental and food programs at schools and things like that, when it was already an NDP initiative anyways. It wasn't even yours, and it's already being done. Like, provinces are already doing this. Communities are already doing it in different ways. There's something in Sudbury called Healthy Smiles, that if you don't have enough money to afford the dentist, and you got kids, you go to the city and they have a program called Healthy Smiles for dental work, and they'll pay for it. It's already there. Like, you're taking credit for something that already exists. And then $250,000 in airplane food for one trip. Like, that's how much you spent on airplane food. And it must have been a different airplane than what I've ever been on. I wouldn't want to be spending that much money on airplane food, but obviously you take airplanes that have gourmet food on them. A man of the people, a real man of the people. Someone who really understands, been born a millionaire, have always been a millionaire, went to the best schools, didn't really do much with your education or whatever. All you amounted to was a part-time drama teacher who got kicked out for some kind of sexual misconduct. Like, that's the prime minister we have in now, who's basically a dictator. And then brings in millions of people, so that way it waters down the electoral landscape, and people are afraid coming in, these millions of people that have come in with this immigration policy that it's like makes no sense whatsoever. And now you have people who are afraid to say anything because they won't be able to stay in Canada if they protest who allowed them to come in. They're very scared. They'll do whatever they're told. And you knew that. You knew that. And it was done on purpose. Like, there's no incompetence there, right? So a lot of things being done at the highest levels. So, I've never seen such hypocritical behavior. And just continue to just dig in your heels. It's the emperor who has no clothes. Everybody sees it. And it's kind of sad. It's sad to watch someone just continue to lie when everybody knows you're a liar and a thief and a criminal. and you have no respect from people that you say you're there to serve. Please. Everyone's asking him why you don't step down. He said, oh, well, there's lots of work to be done. And Canadians, we need to work for Canadians. Well, stop working for us, please. You're not doing us any favors. You're driving this country into the ground. You're bankrupting this country. You're bankrupting this country. So I hope you're watching this today, because I hope you're able to take, a little bit from what Canadians actually feel. Like, this is like a come to Jesus moment kind of thing. This is like, come on. Let's save face a little bit. Like, I honestly don't know. Denise, good morning, everyone. Stay healthy and safe. Like and share for sure. Just going through some of the comments here, and yeah, I apologize. It seems to be I'm just kind of, I don't know what set me off this morning, but I think it was this new carbon capture initiative or whatever. We're spending money hand over fist. My money. We're spending my money. I'm giving my money to this criminal cartel that's running this place, and they're bankrupting the country I live in and I love, and I can't stand to watch it. Diane, good morning. Thanks for being with us. And yeah, inflation, it's a hidden tax. I agree with you 100%. And it should be, it's another criminal act. Like, why isn't that criminal? Like, that's robbery. They're robbing us blind. Totally. There's a story of a home invasion here, local story. And, they know who it is. They're arrested. But this is like a country invasion, basically. Good morning, Mona. Thanks for being on. So, this whole carbon capture thing coming out, this, going net zero by 2035, that's our goal. Like Canada, 40 million people. We're going to be a world leader. We're going to capture all the carbon of the world and make the world's air clean and get rid of the devilish carbon which plants eat. It's plant food. Let's get rid of all the plant food that makes everything go green, because apparently it's really harmful. And bankrupt our country in the meantime doing it. For what? You have China building, I don't know how many coal factories a month. They're over 1 billion people in China, over 1 billion people in India. They're not taxing their people and saying they want to be a world leader and pretending to be green. No, we have to do it for some reason. I don't know why. We have more trees that eat up more carbon than we produce. So we're already net positive as a country. So what are the reasons we need to tax ourselves into bankruptcy and burn down our country in the name of what? Either it's incompetence or it's on purpose, right? So we have a report out there that calls out MPs that are dealing with foreign entities. What do you think these foreign entities stand to gain if Canada goes bankrupt? I think a lot. They come in for the spoils. They're polluting the death out of the world while they're able, if you call it pollution, if it is indeed pollution, if it is indeed going to kill us, well, they're doing it, but no one's holding them accountable. They're doing it on a way larger scale than we are. If you look at the pie chart, well, who's talking about China being accountable for their carbon footprint? Where's that in the news? We're made to feel bad. And if you look at the pie chart, it's such a small sliver, you might miss it. You can't even see it of how much we're polluting, but yet we're the world leader in this. And we're subsidizing a whole battery industry that will never make money. No one wants it. It's terrible technology. It's it pollutes the world more than our current forms of energy. You know how much goes into mining all the materials that go into a battery and how much pollution comes from that? And then what do you do with the batteries when they're done? Like, where do they go? How many batteries we're going to need? Give your head a shake. Like, this is gone out of control. And there's a chunk of Canadians that are going along with it and that are totally like, they only listen to the CBC, right? State-run media. So they only get what the government wants them to hear. And it's sad. It's sad. It hurts my heart to hear somebody just speaking of world events, but just kind of regurgitating what they hear on the CBC. It's sad. I almost want to cry because to me, it's like someone who's brainwashed by their abusive partner and they're in this relationship, you know, oh, I just fell down the stairs. Why you got two black eyes? Oh, I just fell down the stairs. You know, oh, why do you have a broken arm? Oh, well, I tripped and fell on the sidewalk. You know, why are you still with this person? Oh, they're the best. You know, they treat me so good. It's like that when I hear people regurgitating what the government's mandates are for this country and what they're doing. And it makes sense to me. Oh, it makes sense. You know, wow. Total brainwashed. I can't believe it. You know, but that I can't believe you guys stayed here the entirety of the show. My heart goes out to you for doing that. And good morning, Vin. And I apologize in some ways for taking up the whole show with a rant. But I was kind of coming into this just, you know, the show didn't begin correct or the way it should have with the technology and stuff. And the news stories I was reading in the morning, I'm just like, how much of this are we going to keep taking? You know, we're going to keep taking it and taking it and taking it. I don't know, man. Canadians were so passive and yeah, we got to do something. It might be already too late. I have no idea. They're making it. They're bankrupting this country at such an unprecedented rate that I swear we're going to wake up very soon and realize the horrible position that we're in and ask ourselves, how did it get like that? But don't worry, the CBC will tell us how we got there. But it won't be the government's fault. It won't be at all. It's going to be your fault or another country's fault or the opposition party's fault or someone's fault other than the people whose actual fault it is. And and that's just the way it's going to be. Well, thanks, Bob, for that. I appreciate it. And thanks, everyone, for listening. Have a great weekend. It's Friday. Enjoy the weekend as much as you can. Keep positive, regardless of all the negative things I've been talking about. There's lots to be happy about in this world as well. As much as people are making it or trying to make it as negative as possible, or it seems to be like that, you have many reasons to be positive. Maybe we'll just focus a little bit more on that in coming shows. But in the meantime, enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you same time, same place, God willing, on Monday. Stay tuned now for Earshot Daily on CKLU 96.7. Have a great one, everyone. Ciao.
This is Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.